All right, so welcome to the third town hall for LD Talent and Happy New Year. This is January of 2021. And so today we're going to be covering a number of interesting topics and a little bit different from what we've done before. So I'm going to share my screen now. So can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So this town hall is going to be a little bit different from the past town halls. Welcome, Toyosi. Thank you for joining. So this town hall is going to be a little bit different. The last two town halls, what we covered was how to make the client developer matching system better, how to improve the UX, and how to get more of you matches. And as some of you may have noticed in LD Engineers, a lot more people are getting matches now. Another thing that we talked about was lifelong learning of in-demand skills. And thanks to your feedback, we are improving the system for blog projects. And we're also trying to identify areas that are in demand in terms of skills that are in low supply but high demand. And one of the things that we have done is we've internally hired 5 developers. So we've internally hired 5 developers from our network to work on different projects that involve improving our UX and that involve improving our website. And eventually they'll work on projects for lifelong learning of in-demand skills. And I'm always hiring internally as well. I'm always inviting people to interviews, especially people who know Django and JavaScript and HTML and sometimes jQuery. And I'm always, trying to use our network to hire internally our developers. I don't code at all anymore, except for, when I review pull requests. I mean, I have tried as hard as possible to delegate as much work as possible internally to our developers to improve our UX, to improve our brand. And so we've taken your feedback from the last 2 webinars to make projects that will improve our UX and our brand, and also our SEO. So sooner or rather than later, we'll start having more and more people discover our platform through SEO. We've already had developers who have made money on our platform discover us purely through SEO. Similarly, we have had clients discover us through SEO. So thanks to Mohammed, who wrote out a couple articles on Quora that feature our platform. Actually, clients do come through those Quora articles and Quora responses and whatnot, and they discover LD Talent through those SEO mechanisms. We're trying to make our profiles of developers also more SEO friendly based on your past feedback. So we've taken your feedback to improve the client developer matching system, to get more clients on the platform, more developers on the platform. And we have also hired developers internally to do that from different locations. We've hired developers in Kenya. We've hired developers in Nepal. We've hired developers in India, and we've hired developers in Nigeria internally to help us improve the network, and Uganda as well. And so this meeting is going to take a different perspective. Now, at the end of our last town hall, we talked about not just making money from matching developers to clients, but you know what? We've built a system of 250 vetted developers who are smart people from all over the world, from many majority world countries, who have interesting ideas themselves and who could potentially build their own applications, their own websites, their own startup ideas. And so we've been thinking about alternative monetization strategies. What if, in addition to matching developers to clients, LD could make money from not just matching developers to clients, but also we could invest in some of your own startup ideas. We could review the viability of your project ideas and see whether they're profitable and invest amounts of fund hours for you to work on your own projects, because we would do a profit sharing agreement. If you have an idea for a game in Unity, built in Unity, that you think would be doing very well on the App Store, and and you could monetize it through either advertising or in-app purchases or a freemium model. Maybe we would be interested in investing. Maybe you have an idea for a SaaS application, a software as a service application that can compete with companies that are started out of the US, and that you want to target global markets. You want to target the US market with your software as a service idea. Well, maybe LD, if we find that it's a profitable idea, we'll go through with the idea with you and maybe we'll invest. Maybe you have an idea in health tech or in any other exciting space like IoT or machine learning. We are at the position where we're ready to invest small amounts into your ideas in addition to just matching you with clients. So before we talk about this in more detail, I just wanted to give us a moment to talk briefly if any of you had feedback on our current model. So our model right now is matching developers to clients, and we will continue to do that. We will always do that. That's our core business. But if you had any feedback on our system so far, on the developer client matching system, then let me know right now. Otherwise, we will dedicate this town hall to talking about your ideas and investing in some of your application and startup ideas and how we can organize that effort. But before that, just any feedback on our developer client matching system. How can we make it better for you? Yes. Kolawale, go ahead.
Hello, good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
Okay, this is Precious. Yeah, recently I got matched with a client
Yes.
for an interview, but I've responded, but the client seems to not respond. So I'm kind of worried or was thinking if the client has maybe is no longer interested due to the fact of his lack of response.
Yeah. When was when did the client invite you?
That was yesterday.
Ah, so it happened yesterday and they haven't responded today yet.
Yes,
It might be
yes.
because of the weekend in the US. It might be because of the weekend. But what I'll do is I'll follow up with the client asking them to respond to you. And yeah, hopefully everything will go well.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other feedback on our current system of matching clients to developers? Okay. All right. So let's start. And if you have feedback later on the developer client matching system, we can talk about that. But for now, let's move on to what this town hall is about, which is about this new. So we have LD talent, and LD talent works. We have matched almost 50, so 49 paying customers to vetted developers, and the system works. So welcome to all the people who joined new. Srinivas, thank you for joining as well. Peter, Sean, Gabriel, Kenneth, Frankie, Iaretifu, Iaretifu, and Henry, Toyosi. Thank you, everyone. So we just mentioned that there are some, there are our matching system for matching developers to clients. We have improved it a lot. We have planned improvements for future to get more clients on the board. Already we've had close to 50 paying customers who have been matched with our developers, but we're always trying to improve it. Thank you, Gabriel. But one thing that we want to do is, and we're happy to take feedback on that topic, but one thing that we want to do is, welcome, Lakhtar, and one thing that we want to do is we want to start investing in some of your ideas as well. One thing that we see in the world is all the startups are started, pretty much all the big companies were started in the United States, and specifically often in the Silicon Valley, with the exception of TikTok, which was started in China, Beijing, China, and Zoho, which was started in Chennai, India, and Freshworks, I think, was started in India. There are very few companies out there that were started in majority world, in other words, developing countries. And since majority world countries form the majority of the world, why don't we see more popular applications that are scalable and profitable being started, in Lagos, that are not targeting the local market, right? There are a lot of fintech startups in Africa, right, that target the African market. But why don't we see startups coming out of Africa and Asia that are targeting the global market, that are targeting US markets specifically, because US controls a third of the wealth of the world. So this town hall is to hear about your app ideas, your startup ideas, your game ideas, your project ideas, your business ideas, applying diverse segments of knowledge and targeting diverse pockets of wealth. Before we start with some of your ideas, I just wanted to show you a picture of what the wealth of the world even looks like. So this is something I created in the last month. And I just wanted to show you, because a lot of times I talk to, entrepreneurial people, especially out of Nigeria, Kenya, and India, and Uganda. And they tell me, I have this brilliant app idea, I have this brilliant startup idea, and I'm going to be targeting my local market. And I say, that's good. It's good that you have a smart idea, a creative idea. But why are you targeting your local market? I just want to show them this picture of the wealth of the world. Each box here represents $5 trillion of wealth. And this is all the wealth in the world. So this is all the wealth in the world. And the Americas control this much wealth right here. And they have 1 billion people. Europe has almost 1 billion people, 750 million people, and they control this much wealth. Asia has 4.5 billion people, and they control this much wealth. So yeah, this may seem big, but actually it's 4.5 billion people versus 1 billion people. So it's actually not that much. It's like for each billion people, it's only a few squares. And then Africa only controls 1 square of wealth. So if you want to make Asia and Africa wealthier per person, you need to be targeting with your products, not just services, not just offering development services to these areas, to the Americas and Europe, but you need to be building products that target 3 areas. If you want to be successful with your startup apps and your companies that you want to build, you need to be targeting American companies, often that are listed on the stock market in the United States. You need to be targeting banks, money held in European banks, and you need to be targeting Asian homes. The American stocks, American companies, American capitalism, European banks, so wealthy individuals in Europe, and the homes of Asia. If you can target them, if you're sitting in Africa or in India or other parts of Asia, if you want to build a startup, if you target these 3 areas right here, American companies, wealthy European individuals, and Asian homes, you're targeting a big market and you can make good money. So that's what I wanted to say about this diagram. So when you think of a startup idea, if you want to make money, you need to target people who have money. You can't make money from people who don't have money. You can only make money from people who have money. So if you're starting a startup, you need to ask yourself, does your customer have money? If you want to make money, you have to target people who have money. That's the point of this. And I just want to show you where the money is. The money in the world is in American companies, wealthy individuals who keep their money in banks in Europe, and homes in Asia. Particularly in Asia, where are the homes that have a lot of money? China, Japan, Korea. So these are the pockets of money that are deep. And if you can create some products that make money from these pockets, you can be successful. I want to introduce this idea of interdisciplinary innovation. So I have worked with Ngay Sami, who is from Kenya, who is a developer in our network, to scrape up all the different knowledge areas and academic knowledge, practical knowledge from Stack Exchange websites, Stack Overflow, but also from all the courses that Stanford University offers and Northwestern and Yale. And I've compiled a big spreadsheet, and we'll be revamping our skill list to include this. Because what we're really looking for is not just developers who know Python and React. We want developers who know Python and React, but they also have some knowledge of one other area. Maybe they know about finance. Maybe they know about chemical engineering. And a lot of you do have degrees in other areas. This sort of interdisciplinary. Maybe you have a passion for medical technology. These interdisciplinary areas are where you can start building applications that reach across, different types of knowledge and offer unique value. If you build a healthcare application that can help people with diabetes, so you know a little bit about diabetes, but you also know about full stack development and React Native, then you can build something of value that is differentiated from other apps on the marketplace, and that can, that can serve different markets. So what I did was, this is a sort of just a visualization of all the different skills out there that you can learn. And this is pretty much like all the knowledge that's worth learning. So we're going to be including this into our skills so that in your resume form, you can start claiming skills outside of software. You can claim skills in industrial engineering if you've studied industrial engineering. You can claim skills in medicine or in biology if you have some skills there. Maybe some of you know biotechnology, or maybe some of you know bioinformatics. You can claim such skills. And we will use these skills to identify potential entrepreneurs as well within our network, because we see all of you as not just developers, but also potential entrepreneurs. So interdisciplinary innovation is another theme that we're going to be going for in LD Ventures. And with that said, we are ready for some of your comments. Yeah, sure. We're going to be making it public, this list, Frankie, of all the different skills, and also we'll make public the other thing, which was the map of the wealth in the world and how to target the different markets, right? If you're doing a fintech startup in Africa, a great market to target would be Europe. If you're doing a software as a service application in India, you're building a startup, a great market to target would be American companies. So with that said, I'll stop talking now, and I'd love to sort of target some of your ideas and just hear about your ideas, since I've been talking for some 15, 20 minutes now. I'd like to hear about some of your ideas and assess them on need, market, unit economics, and competition. So go ahead.
Gobi, Srinivas here.
Great to hear from you, Srinivas. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Gobi?
Good. I actually met Srinivas in Hyderabad, in India. Yeah, how are you doing, Srinivas?
I'm fine. Fine. Hi, everyone.
Everyone appreciates. Yeah.
Okay. Gobi, I just saw your town hall agenda, so I liked it and just wanted to be part of this town hall.
Yeah.
Okay, because I just want to share few ideas. I have in my mind and just started to work on them.
Go ahead.
Okay. So one idea I thought of is having this, see, we have these algorithms, right? The students from university and all those things find it difficulty to go through these algorithms because that is a basic for everyone to move forward in their career, because algorithms, they have to have some knowledge on that and all those things. And if you go through the books, right, so learning through the books or video tutorials doesn't help us much, because there's all complete theoretical concepts. So what I thought is having a algorithm, means like an algorithm visualizer, means a person in the UI can check any algorithm, means it's a path finding algorithm or a sorting algorithm or any algorithm, means binary tree or anything. He can just select it and he can key in the input, whatever input he feels, and it, after it keeps the input, it visualizes a 3D image of that algorithm, how it does, and the steps it followed to form that 3D image, means the pseudo steps, means, for example, the bubble sort algorithm, how it, based on the input, how it created that 3D, that image, complete steps, it will be displayed in that UI.
That's an excellent idea, and I do see the need. I'm curious about the competition. What is the status quo and the competition right now?
Sorry, I could not get to Gobi.
So for that idea, for the algorithm visualization idea that you've presented right now, what is the competition?
The competition is, see, in the I have gone through a lot of people worked on only for like people worked on sorting algorithm, not on the 3D format and the steps. They don't display the steps. They just use the Python library like matplotlib and to display the graphs. But the 3D image and whatever image you want, for example, we can have that, means they want to visualize as a bar 3D image or a pie image, whatever image they want to visualize, because in their own, like a, or else completely as like a star or a stacked image. So whatever image they want to, they are visualizing, they can select it, because here in the market we have only specific that only bars are displayed or some only specific things are displayed. But our idea is that they can select in what way they want to use that algorithm, how they want to visualize, and the steps, means how that visualization is come into with respect to the time complexity and the number of iterations it took. All the steps will be displayed in the UI.
Understood. So yeah, that's a really interesting and useful idea. So what about with regards to the need for the students? So who is your target market?
Target audience is students and the freshers, means the people who are want to go into the IT field or all those things, because they go to for interviews and the first thing they ask the interviews is the algorithms, means how algorithms, they give a problem solving question and they want to solve it in a efficient manner, and they have to use some algorithm if they want to solve it in an efficient manner.
So more specifically, are you talking about somebody who's already graduated university, or are they middle of university?
No, the graduation means the people who are into a graduation, all the people who are completed the graduation or into the first year or 2 years of experience, people also don't have that much knowledge, because because the companies they work, they don't deal, because they don't put small companies don't put much effort into asking them to learn on the algorithms or putting effort in on them, because this is a tool that anyone can use it, and if they want, means as a study purpose, or if they, for example, they have a problem statement that they have, means the client has provided a problem statement and they're unable to figure it out on algorithms, so they can select based on the problem statement input, right? They can provide that input to that and they can see best algorithms, because we can provide the comparison.
Okay. I have a question. So back on the competition side of things. Frankie asked, can students pay for such a product? So do you want to address that question, Srinivas?
It's an open source, right? We want to display as an open source, not like that we are selling it as a product. There is an open source because people can contribute to that. Whoever want to contribution, we can contribute it, and it is like an open source tool.
But then how will your company make money?
No, because the starting stage, we have to make it as an open source. Later, based on that, we have to go for investments and on further. So right now, we have to make it as an open source that the people like it and start the contribution. If the contributions are happening, right, we can go it as on live, as a funded product or something like that.
Yeah, actually what we're saying with LD Ventures is we will fund some of your projects. So as investors, as an investor, I am interested in learning about how down the road you might create maybe a freemium model or something like that that would help you create some sort of monetization strategy. Maybe the students won't pay. Maybe it'll be the companies that pay. We don't know. But I'm just curious about the monetization strategy.
So,
go ahead.
So that is what one idea I have, and so on this, just now it means that we need to go into the market based on because we have to go into the market by an open source platform, because we get a lot of companies nowadays. Every company is looking forward into the open source market because they want to invest more onto this open source, and they want to utilize those open source and build a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
because everything is now in the open source. Everything people are looking forward to open source.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Because the COVID situation has made in such a situation that people don't want to invest in such a way, because they want to take the open source stuff and put more into that and get a lot of out of it and invest. Later they will want to go for the funding part and everything.
Yeah. So we're talking about the funding part here. Is that we are ready to provide the funding?
Yes, funding is there, but I just wanted to about the who will how will the investors how will invest the money. So just I wanted to go as a first phase as an open source tool and see how much contributions I'm getting. Then the companies will come and a lot of funding will happen. What I'm saying is about you will fund it, but other companies also will start funding based on the interest people are showing in that product.
Well, I mean, that's funding is fine. So LD will fund. You're saying that other people might be interested in funding. That's fine. But LD for sure might fund it. But I'm curious, in the end, right? I know that it's really popular to raise a lot of money, but in the end, you're in any business, whether you're doing any business, you need to have a paying customer. So in the end, who will be your paying customer? Is it the companies or the students or someone else?
That's companies only.
Got it. So
because students, we can't expect that much amount, right? Only the companies can invest, because like companies who are into this education background, education domain and all those things, right? Learning domain or e-learning domains and all those things, those companies definitely will pay the amount.
Yeah, if you can get it popular amongst students, and actually even students in the US, they can afford it. If you charge, if you're targeting the US market, students in the US may be able to afford it.
Okay, but
maybe yeah, go ahead.
Yes, means that is also good, right? If the students of US citizen can pay for it, then it will be very good.
So they may pay for it, and then what you can do afterwards is so maybe you start by making it a freemium model. You release it on the App Store. So maybe you have it on Android and iOS as well as web. And then what you can do is you can gain the traction, use Google Analytics and all the analytics software to optimize the app. And then once you see that people are really using it, maybe you could make it a freemium model and see whether people are paying. And if people are paying, then you have confirmed that the students like it a lot. So then when you can go to the companies and say that, oh, the students are enjoying it so much that they're even Some of them are leaving the freemium and actually going to the premium side and paying a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be like $10 a month or $10 a year on the App Store or whatnot. Then what you can do is you can pitch companies, maybe not Google because they're too big, but maybe you'll pitch a company like, I don't know, Zendesk. Maybe you'll pitch a company like, what's a company that cares a lot about algorithms? Maybe you'll pitch even MathWorks, right? MathWorks hires developers. Maybe you'll pitch Robinhood. They hire a lot of developers, and you'll say, hi, a lot of this person used our application to visualize algorithms. And then we went on to see on their LinkedIn that they work for your company, right? So you identified that somebody who used your software, went on to work for Robinhood or Airbnb or whatnot. Then you can pitch recruiters at Airbnb saying that they used your software.
Yes.
And all this can be done in cold emails. Everybody's working online. Everybody's doing remote work. It doesn't matter where you are. I can also pitch for you. If we see that it's working, I can also send emails on my behalf. I have a huge network, so I can do that. I did have a question though on this side of things. Have you looked at these competitors here? Like these different algorithms, visualization websites? I don't know what.
I need to see in detail means Visual Go.
Well, I'll give you this. From what I see, this is not targeting students at all. And these are not particularly sophisticated. So you might have a interesting opportunity, but you'd have to do more market research and more competitive analysis. Now, I'll stop sharing. So we've covered the need, market, unit economics, and competition. We can talk more about your idea, but I just opened the floor for any other ideas first that people had.
Yes, so this is the one I have, but other ideas also have, but I thought of as into local market, but maybe it's the global market. I don't know this will be suitable or not. So I need to talk to you in person and see how it goes.
I think it may. I think it's a good idea. I think that we'll have to develop it, and we're developing a form or spreadsheet to assess ideas, and I will be releasing that soon. So we will work on it together.
Sure, Gopi. Thank you.
So yeah, anyone else have any ideas that you wanted to sort of pitch a little bit?
Yeah, I have one.
Go ahead, Jehoshaphat.
Yeah, thank you, Gobi. So the World Health Organization gave a statistics that either in is it 2030 or when that one of the greatest or the biggest health issues that will become prevalent in the world is mental health issues. And now COVID-19 has even made it closer than what World Health Organization forecasted earlier. So we realized that a lot of people find it easier talking to machines than talking to another human being because they trust that the machine will not tell someone else about what they told it. It will not judge them for what they are telling. So research from schools like ICT at University of Southern California, we've seen a lot of research from there that proves human beings are more comfortable talking to a virtual human or an AI than talking to a shrink. You get it? So something that I can tell a virtual human without fear, I'll be conscious saying those things to a shrink, maybe because I feel the shrink may judge me, or I'm not comfortable that they can just somehow in a moment of weakness reveal something that is supposed to be confidential to someone else. So the idea is to make virtual humans in platforms like VR, AR, and also mobile phones that people can talk to. This is somebody that you can talk to about your greatest fears, your needs, things that you cannot tell someone else. And the AI can listen to you, can have a conversation with you without judging you, and also give you useful insight. It will tell you things that you want to hear and also tell you things that you don't want to hear, but would help you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about your idea as well. I think that mental health is a big um, topic, and I think that I will share with you something actually kind of crazy that I do, because I'm on the screen all day as well, right? And what I do is I have this spreadsheet. It's a Google spreadsheet called Organize Your Existence for a Life of Fulfillment and Happiness. And throughout the day when we're on our computer, you see something on Facebook, you see something in Slack, etc. And you feel different emotions. You feel anger, you feel jealousy, you feel happiness, you feel impatience. You feel different emotions. And so I started doing this where I'll show you a sample. I have a sheet like this where I'll just like have these different, like, it's called techniques used, traps avoided. So I'll have different emotions out here: jealousy, patience, talking less, listening more, thinking about what matters in my life. For me, what matters is my different contributions, my websites, and then my family and close friends. And you have to like sort of limit what matters in your life. And then I'll sort of increment this. And I was thinking I could make this into a sort of app as well, and other people could sort of increment and remember and remind themselves. But then when I heard your idea about another human being or a virtual human being that's there, it really struck me as something that's even more personal, and it's something that a lot of people can relate to. Because I'm a crazy person, right? I keep track of these different things in a spreadsheet, and I track all this stuff, and that's my personality. But some people, most people actually, they might really like those kind of mental health chatbots. Now, with regards to mental health chatbots, though, there are some mental health chatbots that do exist. And one is called Wobot, which was actually started out of, I think, Stanford. I'm not sure, but definitely started out of the US. So I'd be curious about your differentiation within the space with respect to your mental health chatbot idea.
So from other competitors I've seen, you've just mentioned these chatbots, and then there's also a company called Replica. That they have an app called Replica on Android and iOS. It allows you to customize a virtual human that can be either a mentor, a friend. You give the virtual human a persona that you can have a conversation with. So other virtual humans that we've seen, they are mainly in forms of chatbots. But research has also shown us that people relate more to something that they can put a face to, like an AI that they can put a face to, even if it's not human. So if I wear a VR headset and I see a virtual human that I can interact with, I am more likely to talk and divulge more information to that virtual human in VR, or the one I can use my phone AR to spawn anywhere I want. Or maybe I can just point my phone somewhere in my living room and then there is a virtual human in front of me that I can talk with. People relate more with those kind of virtual humans than a chatbot. So the differentiating thing between the ideas I have and what other people have is people will see something they can relate with, and the level of knowledge it will possess is also a differentiating factor. So if you put on a VR headset, you can see that virtual being. If you're using your phone, an Android phone, an iOS phone, you can use AR to put it in your environment and you can have a conversation with. And then people who have things like AirPods or some form of headphones, they can also have access to it in those methods. So it's not going to be solely text-based as most chat applications are, at most mental health bots are.
I think that this is a really good point. I think that there's something that's interesting that sort of relates Srinivas's idea to your idea as well, that you both emphasized visual elements. He in visualization of algorithms that makes it more relatable to students, and you in putting a visual face to this mental health bot, not chatbot, mental health bot that can help. And Frankie even mentioned in the chat that he vibes with that version of VR. I think that it is an interesting idea. You could build it in Unity VR, you could launch it and see the use case and measure it and see if it's helping people. So I do see how it's a huge need, it's a global market, and it could work. Now, I also see its differentiation from the competition, and I don't think that the competition is a huge worry, because I think you're in a nascent phase and the market is huge and the need is huge. One thing that I am curious about is how do you deal with creating a business out of this? So when you're dealing with mental health, it's tricky, right? If you say you're a psychiatrist, you are charging people money for their mental health, right? Yeah, it doesn't sound nice, right? But that's the reality of the capitalist structured world we live in. So what is a way that you can, I mean, even the meditation apps, right? Like Headspace meditation app. I used another one called Medito, which is free. Not Medito, but Headspace charges money. How would you sort of structure the business so that it is empathetic to your users, so that you give them value even when they're using the free version, but also have a viable business strategy in order to be able to do it as a business?
So one of the things I've given a thought about to solve that problem is users will, even premium users or free users will have access to the brain of the AI as much as they want. But they may have restrictions to the platforms they can use it on. So maybe if I'm using it on my Android and my iOS phone, if I want to use the same AI on my Oculus Quest, I may not have to upgrade to become a paid user.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, or maybe it is something that is okay to just like give a free trial, but then, I mean, you can explain that it takes a lot to build a VR system that can offer a human-like mental health bot. And so I think that people, and you could vary it by different countries, but I don't think it would be unreasonable in the United States to charge per month between $10 and $50 a month for this kind of thing. So I think that you could have a free trial, and then if people like it, you'll have a conversion rate and people will use it. And for that kind of amount of money in the US and Europe is not much. People care about their mental, if it's really helping with their mental health, then I think that it's not a problem. I think that one thing that you might want to do is, so we talked about the unit economics in the market. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say that I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, and it seems like there is a huge rise in voice apps. So voice applications through Alexa or whatnot, different
Yeah.
speakers. I think that a mental health voice application may also be an avenue that is quite interesting because it's not like a chatbot. You don't have to sit in front of a screen. Everybody, because of
Yeah.
COVID, they're tired of sitting in front of a screen. But it's not visual. You mentioned visual. This is not visual. This is more like you're lying down on your couch and you're listening to the chatbot. Olu Peter said, consider the blink list strategy for income generation. We can address that in a second, but before that, I'll let you respond, Jehoshaphat.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that one of the platforms that the AI will be, the virtual being will be running on, will be on things like AirPods, headphones, and smart speakers. Yeah.
Very good.
So it goes across, it's a multimodal being that we can just deploy to any of those platforms anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it's a good idea. I've done the whole basic checks that, there's a need market unit economics and it's competitive. So I'd be interested in speaking more with you. And we'll send you the LD Ventures form as well. And hopefully we can carve out an idea. And I like that we saw something today in education from Srinivas, and we saw something in healthcare from Jehoshaphat. The blink list strategy that Peter brings up, I think it's from a book that I haven't read yet, but it's on my list, and I've downloaded the audiobook. Audiobooks are great to listen to. I think it's from Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, but maybe I'm wrong. But Peter, can you just explain to us what you mean, if you are able to? If not, no worries. But can you explain what you mean by the blink list strategy for income generation? Oh, okay. If your mic is not working, you can just type it and I'll read it aloud. And I'll read aloud when you are able to type that. But now I'd like to ask for anyone else, whether anyone else has some proposed ideas. And part of this exercise is to just encourage all of you do have ideas. We know that.
All right. Can I come in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Akisoya Adiolowa. All right, so let me just go straight to what I noted down. So I noted, so the startup idea I noted was an AI-powered video conferencing app.
Mm-hmm.
So two applications I noted are for interviews and meetings. So basically, you have applicants interacting with an AI during interviews. So you don't necessarily need like human presence.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so during interviews, you can use the AI to capture key items from the candidate and also monitor the candidate as their, the AI is asking questions, the candidate is responding, and then taking it, the AI is taking note of key items from the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why Toto.
Very good. So that's in the human resources industry, and it would also be, yeah, I think it could apply. I think it's also in the communication industry to an extent.
Yeah.
So yeah, there'll be customers for that. What about the competition right now? Is there anyone doing anything like this?
So I couldn't find. So when I did my research, so what led to this idea was this NVIDIA magazine. I don't know if you've heard of it. I can type it in the chat so you can do some research on that. So I couldn't find any competition or anyone that is doing it. But then this magazine providing a service to make it easier to build something like that. NVIDIA magazine. Come give me a minute, let me type in. So I couldn't really find any startup doing something similar to that, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. These are all really nascent ideas and nascent stages of these technologies, so it's good that you're thinking about this cloud AI streaming platform. So it is pretty, Maxine is pretty different from what you're doing. One thing I would gonna ask for you though, which is a different question than I asked from the other people who presented ideas. For you, I was gonna ask, what are the keywords that people need to search to find your website? So if you're gonna be doing this as a company, how will people discover you on Google? What will they be searching? And then your website solves their question. Or
I mean, we could depend on ads. I mean, pay for ads and then try to market the platform through ads.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do it through ads. You can do it just through organic search. That's fine. But I'm curious, what are the keywords for this? What would people be searching?
Honestly, I really can't like think about that now. I'll probably think about that later. But then, I mean, how I thought about was just like paying for ads, then advertising the platform. That way, people can recommend the platform to organizations. Organizations can end up using the platform.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some of the keywords that I was sort of thinking about when you spoke was maybe people might be like streamline video interviews. Maybe they search that, or maybe they're searching automate video interviews. You'd have to look at the Google Keyword Planner tool, but this is the kind of thing where you'll have medium-sized businesses in the United States who are searching keywords like streamline video conference interviews, automate video conference interviews. And if you can get your blogs and your content under those keywords, using the different SEO optimization strategies that I've laid out in some of the blogs that I've written on the LD Talent blog, 100 Startup Mantras in particular. If you can do that, then your business could be quite successful quite soon. I'm curious whether you agree with my keywords that I proposed for your idea. Or
Yeah. So I actually agreed with you. Automate interviews, because you mentioned something about that.
Yeah.
So I agree with all that.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, that sounds good. So we've seen ideas from communication to education to healthcare, which is excellent. I'm curious if there are more ideas. We'll try to keep this to an hour, but we still have a little bit more time. Hi.
Hi, Gobi.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Olu Peter. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Sorry, I just shared the link. I don't know if you can hear me well.
I can hear you very well. Yeah.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks for this opportunity for this session. It's really impressive. I'm really happy with it. Now, I've had so many ideas about AI and in almost all fields. It's really exciting to see that people have these unique ideas. Mine is really more of a traditional one. I don't know. I even hesitated to bring it up at first, but I'll go ahead anyway.
Good.
Mine is it's a combination of ideas, really. It's looking at combining different, we'd call them sub-modules to come up with product or service. Okay, the first one is on rental services, like housing and maybe apartments, finding something like Airbnb, is it? Airbnb, I don't know.
Yep, that's
Something
right.
like that.
That's right. Yeah.
But I'm targeting the local market for now. And of course, there will be expansion.
Okay.
There will be expansion to maybe Africa and probably the world or the rest of the world.
Okay.
But I was looking at combining that service together with maybe tours and travels.
Okay.
And on top of that, I'd add on translation services.
Okay.
So it's a combination of three things, but there are key items here. One is to expose how the beauty of maybe the continent to the rest of the world, and maybe to put out a message of maybe we should conserve nature instead of doing damage to it. It's really so many birds with one stone kind of idea. I haven't explained it in detail, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the idea.
I sort of do. Yeah, I'm really glad you brought it up because it's sort of, I don't know what industry I would classify that in. Is it, I feel like it's climate change related. It's also related to tourism and education to an extent. Would you say that those are the industries?
Yeah, I'll put it in that.
Yeah, so I think that it would be a very interesting business that you can build around that. Uh, I I'm curious if you can actually make it a sort of like, because I know you're targeting your local market, but I think that actually a lot of people around the world would get value out of learning about Africa. And specifically, I had a similar related idea before about, oh, what if we could, so I had watched a lot of Nigerian movies in the last few months, uh, and but in general, for the entire continent, there's so many diverse cultures. And what if I could just like sign up for a call to learn about a recipe that's from, I don't know, one particular state in Eastern Nigeria or whatever. I had ideas like that. And then when I heard your idea about, you know, different ways to appreciate the environment and the forest and stuff, I think I understand what it is, but I guess maybe I'll also ask you the question that I asked previously to Akinsanya, which is, what keywords would people be searching for? Because somehow they have to discover you, right? Even though it's a traditional idea, it still leverages technology. So what keywords would people be searching for in order to discover your idea, your website, your platform?
Okay, there's a couple I have. I would see maybe I would put it under if you're looking to travel to Africa and you need to maybe find maybe a rental service or like an apartment. Basically, some kind of booking, something similar to Airbnb, but not in that context. Maybe a little bit more traditional, you know. And on top of that, maybe if someone is looking to do maybe tours, like to travel to the continent, to tour the continent, that would be another option. But I would also think I also considered AR and VR, somehow they fit into this context, but
Mhm.
I'm not quite certain how yet.
Mhm.
It's still a work in progress. I think another way would to entice people to come in would maybe to offer sort of online AR kind of tours, like on the website, perhaps, maybe just so they can get a feel of what it is they are going to see before they can actually go there.
It's an
Something,
excellent.
something like that.
Mhm.
I'm still developing it, so I may not have all the answers.
Oh, it's an excellent idea. And I would probably be your customer. For instance, I have had Ethiopian food many times, but I've never had Kenyan or Nigerian food. And I would like to have it. But now with COVID, all the restaurants are closed and I cannot have it. So if you could um, set up a service where I could video chat with a local chef in Nigeria or Kenya, I mean, I would probably pay $10 to learn how to cook that food at home. And I think a lot of Americans might. So these sort of like authentic cultural experiences, you can do them through VR. I think you can do them online through VR or video. Uh, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was thinking on the same vein, and the way you described it is very good. Uh, so that covers the need. I think the need, you'll find it, and the market, you'll, I guess, is there competition? What is the competition?
Yeah, the competition is kind of spread. It's not, they don't really offer the whole package. They offer like parts of the package, and it's, if you take a look at, for example, Booking or Airbnb, what's that thing? I
Airbnb.
keep
Yeah.
getting it confused.
Yeah.
Yes, Airbnb. I think they mostly in Africa. Okay, I would say we don't really have. Well, some countries have good infrastructure. Some countries don't really have that very, very excellent infrastructure that, you know, maybe someone is looking for, someone from another continent.
Mm.
But they can give you that if you really want to get that experience, not just the comfort of a hotel. You still get the very decent housing, and not probably. Let's say we can put put like some kind of standard to it, like a minimum standard, or maybe if you're talking about the housings, which we can accept, and then we want at the end of the day we want someone to not come in and stay in the hotel and go to maybe the park, look at the animals, take pictures. We want someone to also sort of feel like they didn't just come and witness, but they like literally physical experience the whole stay, the whole process. Maybe even go to some villages, maybe carry out some activities.
Yes.
I don't know, something
Yes.
like someone said, something authentic. I want someone to get the whole package, everything, not just, I don't have the best word for it.
I know. I think I would be your customer. In fact, uh, I would really like to be your customer. And in fact, for me, I have been to only one country in Africa. I've been to Morocco, and I have not been to Sub-Saharan Africa, and I want to. I know Abi, who's on the call, has been. I think he's the one. I mean, Srinivas and Abi and I are probably the only people on this call who are not from Africa, I think. And I think Abi and I have been to Africa. Musa, where are you from, actually? Oh, he left. I hope that wasn't. Anyway, so I guess what I'm saying is that I would be your customer. I would pay for that experience. And I think it could even be like a preparatory experience. So, you know, when you have a sales funnel, you have like, first you talk to the customer, you give them an online email and then an online tour, and then they come on a plane and they visit and you give them accommodation. I actually think you have a very interesting business model here, where you could go out to Americans and Europeans and you could say that we will give you the online AR, VR experience. You will, in this experience, get prepared, because for many Westerners, they need to prepare for a big trip to Africa before they need to learn a little bit about the culture. They want to, they'll want to go to have a video chat with a lady who is going to teach them how to cook some Nigerian food. They will want to talk to a man who's going to teach them how to make injera in Ethiopia. They'll want to have these experiences online first, prepare themselves. And then as you build, maybe they're like doubting, maybe I don't know if I can go to Africa. Will it be okay? Will I be okay? Is it the right thing? Is it too adventurous for me? Think in terms of a Westerner in a Western country, what they think. But then if you can help them sort of online build these video chat, VR experiences, learning to do different activities, like, okay, maybe I'm going to watch Fourth Republic, the Nigerian movie, or maybe I'm going to watch this other Nigerian movie, and then I'm going to have a conversation with a Nigerian person about the movie, Iore, which is more of a traditional Nigerian movie compared to Merry Men or whatever like that, right? Then, you sort of like help them build the relationships with people in Nigeria, with people in Kenya. And then once they have like, oh shit, I have 5 friends in Nigeria and 5 friends in Ethiopia, I now have more of a reason to pay money to book that ticket, to book, hostels or hotels on your website, and you would have carried them. So you monetize every step of the process, from that initial video chat where they're learning how to make Ethiopian food, through that, you're going to have a short conversation about, the meaning of the film Iore, all the way up to like, they're booking hotel accommodations in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Nairobi, in Kampala, in Addis. Like, you sort of need to get that authentic African experience in board. And a lot of people in America would buy into that. You also can relate it to different political movements that are happening in America that are, all about inclusiveness and diversity. If you can tie that in, you have a huge market to go after. Interested in your reactions to that.
Thanks for that. Really helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have any ideas in reaction to that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually. I was writing them down,
Mm-hmm.
I was noting them down. They're really helpful, and I think it's given me a much wider perspective to look at this idea. It's really, really much better than it had started initially. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, we are interested in investing. We're creating a small fund to invest in majority world startup ideas. So I actually am very happy with the different ideas, from Srinivas's education idea. We saw that, and then we saw also ideas in healthcare. We saw ideas in communication. We saw in your idea in sort of VR type of tourism. I think that it's very, very good. I think that Jehoshaphat was the idea with healthcare. Akinsanya had the idea with communication and video conferencing. You're targeting big industries. So if anyone has anything to say in terms of a new idea, I'll just wait for 10 seconds. Okay, well, we've been here for an hour now. And I was going to say that at the beginning of this call, so, I'm kind of, I try new things. I've always been a unique person. When I was a kid in school, all the kids would the teacher would ask, "What's your favorite animal?" And the kids would say dog or cat and something like that. And I was the only guy who would say, "Oh, I like donkeys and pigs and goats." And so that's just my personality. And I think that's very valuable to have a unique personality. Now, today I was a little bit afraid because when I asked in the last two town halls for people to propose startup ideas that will target global markets, we didn't get any ideas. But today we got four. We got ideas from education to healthcare to communication to tourism. And in a way that targets global markets, in a way that can bring money into majority world countries, into majority world entrepreneurs, into majority world companies. That is exactly what we were looking for. And we got that today. So now I have a little bit of a gut check today that LD Ventures might work. It might work. One of the things that I wanted to sort of encourage at this point is just for all of you to just be aware of this visualization here of this is all the companies that are listed on the US stock market. And I just want you to understand one thing from this, which is the diversity of ways that you can start businesses and make money. So like today, we talked about communication. And there's a huge amount of money being made by companies founded mostly in the US, but it's global dollars that are going into communication. We talked about technology and healthcare. These are huge areas of money right? And so the idea is that you can create impact in a way that works well with capitalism. That's the whole point of LD, is to say, you know what, education is important. Making the world a better place is important. But we have to, if we want to do it at scale, we have to do it in a way that's viable with this current capitalist infrastructure that we have no choice, that's the way that that's the world that we have been born into. We talked about, we did talk about real estate because the idea that we just heard from Peter had to do a little bit with real estate in the sense that many African families would probably be hosts for some of the experiences that he was featuring. So we have many different, so I'd like you to, take a look at this visualization at some point. It's from this website called FinViz, and you can see, how do big companies in the world look? How does the wealth of the world look? And you also have access to the slides. So if you want to look at how the wealth of the world looks, you can also go to the town hall slides and look at this visualization of the wealth of the world. And I'm really impressed today by what I've seen. And the reason I'm impressed is because you did exactly what we talked about, which is coming up with creative ideas that can target deep pockets and that can create majority world entrepreneurship. So Iaritifu, Don Precious, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, you can call me Precious.
Okay, but can you say your name? We're all about
Precious.
majority world like culture. So can you say your last name?
Iaritifu.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Yes, I have this idea. I started work on it, but my idea targets Africa because it's an e-commerce platform that allows buyers and sellers to communicate, to interact and easily sell their goods. There's something I noticed in Africa, especially in Nigeria, that most of these entrepreneurs, self-owner business, they have this difficulty selling their items, especially when COVID-19 strikes. Most of their goods and items were kind of dormant in their store or in their shop or in their warehouse. And most of these e-commerce platforms are not actually, they didn't actually capture the needs they want for them to be able to sell their item. So what these entrepreneurs does was to post their items on WhatsApp, Facebook, social media to sell. And due to the weight of these social medias, people don't really up to them because they say that, oh, these kind of people are kind of scams and the rest. So I started up with building a e-commerce platform that will establish a trust between a seller and a buyer, in which sellers are able to upload their items in this platform. And the more they sell and you're able to satisfy the customer, the more their trust level increases and more customers comes into the platform and buy products for them. So this is what I've been working for in the past 3 months, and I've worked to an extent that I'm kind of in need of some good developers that will help me launch this product. But it has been so I've done it in a point that I can launch an MVP version of it.
Understood.
Yeah.
So I normally, we're all about targeting global markets, but something that I really appreciated, even though is an e-commerce idea that's within Africa, there is something that I probably don't emphasize enough, which is streamlining internal processes leads to internal economic growth that doesn't depend on, foreign buyers. I think that that's really highlighted in your idea. I really like how you brought up the WhatsApp groups, but then your software. I'm curious though about what your traction has been like so far. I know you have to you have to, hire developers, and you have to, grow the platform further, but I'm curious what the traction has been so far.
When you mean traction, please, what do you mean? Do you mean how I intend to generate income from this platform?
Like, how many people are using your platform right now?
Like I stated earlier, um, um, I haven't deployed it for production yet. It's currently under development. But
Okay.
before the end of January, I will release a MVP version of it.
Okay. Have you done pilot tests?
Yes, I've done some pilot tests with some group of users to like adapt with the system, and from their feedback, I did some minor changes.
Okay. I think that we got a comment from Akinsanya about gg.ng. Did you have anything to address that comment on? I think it's a competition.
Now, what gg.ng, what it does is that people can actually upload their product, but you don't actually build this trust, unique trust system. So scammers, anybody can just go there and upload product and item, but in terms of how this item is delivered, how this money is being handled, are not being addressed. Yeah. So that's what this platform addresses.
Trust. Yeah. So are there stories on GG where people get, so Olu Peter said you could consider adding delivery services. Yeah. So is it a problem? Is trust a problem on GG? Have you ever ordered something or have you ever had a GG experience that was bad?
Yes. Yeah, I haven't really ordered, but if you search for some issues on Jeju, you actually come across most of them. Some of them might post an item there. Then when you see that item, it's not actually what you really see, it's what you really get. So all those time as you wasted on posting that, all those time you wasted in buying such an item, it's just like a waste of time. And also to this user that did something like this, the system won't be able to okay, we want to flag this user that this seller posted a wrong item. So it might still do this to other customers. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you create a more robust reviewal system on the individual people. So let's see, does he have any? Yeah, so it's not very, I mean, maybe if you log in, you'll get more data, but I do see how you can make this better. And yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, I do see the need to streamline, and I mean Nigeria's population is growing really fast, and its economy is growing as well. And with COVID, everyone's, using technology more and more. So I do see that it could be a good market. Unit economics would probably work in your favor. The need is there. The competition is there, though. There is competition in this space. I would be curious whether this type of model would generalize, because if you could make it a generalizable model that would work, not just in Nigeria, but in other places, I'd be interested in investing.
Yes, yes, it can work. Yes, it can work for other. Yes, it can be generalized with other countries. It has been actually built in that in mind. Although for we just want to streamline to the Nigerian market first, but uh, the architecture has been built for general purpose.
Yeah. I guess the web architecture is not what I'm worried about. It's more like, is this already there in Ethiopia? Is it already there in Kenya? Is it already
Okay,
there in India? That would be the question.
okay.
Is it already there in? I mean, I'd be curious about Uganda as well. Yeah, because if you can grab the African market, then there's a lot. That's a pretty big market. But yeah, Nigeria is the best place to start. I agree. Cool.
Yes, of course I can. Yes, I can. I can do some research in these other countries and target those countries too.
Yeah. 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 Maybe I overemphasized that point a little bit, actually. Yeah, it's important to expand, but right now, I mean, Lagos is the. Are you in Lagos?
Yes, I'm Lagos.
Yeah. So Lagos is probably the best place to start. You're right, and yeah, I'd be interested in seeing how it works. I would like. I will send you the form as well when we're done preparing it for the LD Ventures, and if the idea, if we can have a little bit of back and forth, we may be interested. Yeah. So I'll be in touch. All right.
Okay.
Very good. I think that this was an excellent webinar. And yeah, I will conclude this by saying just a sentence. I am so pleased that we have proved today that majority world entrepreneurship is something that's going to happen in the 21st century, and that we're going to be targeting global markets with companies started in Africa, in Asia, and in the overall majority world. So I'm very pleased. And all of you have presented ideas across healthcare, technology, communication, education, and logistics in a way that has inspired me and has given me confidence to invest increasingly in all of you. So thank you. And hopefully we can not only have this investor project relationship, client developer relationship, but eventually we should all be running this network together. We should all be investing in each other's ideas, and we should all be growing the majority world. Thank you. So Happy New Year. Take care.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Okay, goodbye all.
Take care. Happy New Year. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Cheers.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Don Precious. Bye, Jehoshaphat. Bye, Muhammad.
Yeah, bye, Gobi.
Bye. Bye. Bye, Consigna. Bye, Frankie. Bye, Srinivas. Bye, Peter.
Bye, Gobi. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Chibuokem. Ibezim. Bye, Jehoshaphat. Bye. Iradukunda. Fiacre. Bye, Ibezim. Bye. Take care. I'll end the recording now.